Hi everyone. Welcome back to Shirley's Strange Tales. Today, I'm going to tell you a true story that happened in 2025, in Inner Mongolia, China. The Bayannur Coffin Mountain Flood Incident. Coffin Mountain. In the northern foothills of Yinshan, in a valley called Dongwagegu, there is a mountain shaped like a coffin. Locals call it Coffin Mountain. Its outline wide at one end and narrow at the other looks like a coffin's body, and the raised part on top is said to resemble a coffin lid. Dongwagegu stretches about 57 kilometers long. Because of its wide, open terrain, it became a popular hidden gem for campers and outdoor lovers, though it remains an undeveloped and unregulated area. On August 16, 2025, a group of 5 families, 13 people in total, drove 4 private cars to the Coffin Mountain area near Bayannur city. They planned to spend a relaxing 2-day camping trip together. Among them were medical staff, children, a high school senior about to take university entrance exams, and a PhD graduate who had just returned home. They simply wanted to escape city life for a while to barbecue, take photos, watch the stars, and talk. They had planned the trip a week in advance and picked this off-map location as their secret camping spot. According to the GPS, they turned off National Highway G242 onto a side road. The scenery changed from dense vegetation to sparse grassland, and eventually only short ground-level plants remained. The deeper they went, the more desolate it looked. When they arrived, they found themselves surrounded by mountains, with an open flatland in the middle. The ground bore signs of water erosion, but no visible stream. Another camping group was already there. They parked their vehicles on slightly higher ground and used stones to prevent sliding. Tents were set up, and the camp came alive with children playing and phones recording the beauty around them. At that moment, an old herdsman passing by with his sheep saw them camping in the middle of the riverbed. He called out a warning. "You can't stay here overnight." His voice echoed across the wide river channel. The earlier camping group, who had also heard about heavy rain warnings for August 17th to 20th, recalled a weather alert on their phones the night before. They joked, "Good thing we came 2 days early. We'll leave on the 17th anyway." But hearing the old man's warning made them reconsider. After some thought, that first group decided to pack up and leave. However, the 13 newcomers didn't want to give up their long-awaited weekend escape. They dismissed the warning, thinking their tents were waterproof and they could always retreat to the cars if it rained. The place seemed open and safe enough. What they didn't know is that local herders had long understood the danger. The riverbed of the Yinshan grasslands is deceptive and deadly. The flood comes from afar. Bayannur lies deep within the Yinshan Mountains, in a semi-desert grassland zone where the soil is loose and sandy. When heavy rain falls, runoff can easily carry sand, stones, and branches, turning into a destructive flash flood. Even rainfall tens of kilometers upstream can surge through the valleys and strike downstream suddenly. Every year, July and August are the rainy season here, and flash floods are dreaded. Locals know, never camp in a river channel during wet weather. At 8:07 p.m. on August 16th, local emergency authorities issued an alert, warning people to stay away from low-lying outdoor areas. But perhaps no one at the site saw the message or took it seriously. Even more tragically, those 13 campers had heard the herdsman's warning in person, yet chose to ignore it. That night, the sky remained clear. Stars glittered above the quiet plain. But about 50 kilometers away, unseen rain was already falling in the mountains, rain that would soon become a torrent. Around 10 p.m., faint camp lights still glimmered along the riverbed near Jinshan North Road. Then came a deep rumble from the upstream valley. Before anyone could react, a wall of water over a meter high, packed with stones and debris, came roaring down like a beast. Tents, cars, and camping gear were shredded and swept away in seconds. The 13 people, asleep in their tents, were engulfed without warning. Human bodies were tossed like leaves in the muddy torrent, powerless, nowhere to escape. The flood came too suddenly, too violently. The rescue, long, difficult, and desperate. At 3:05 a.m. on August 17, Wang Jingwang, captain of the Blue Sky Rescue Team, received the emergency call and led his team to the site. The main river channel still had about 1 meter of water, some pits were up to 6 meters deep. With no witnesses and the flood's path unclear, rescuers could only spread out and search broadly. The first 24 hours were the golden rescue window. From dawn on August 17, over 700 personnel from meteorological, emergency, police, fire, water resources, and medical departments were mobilized. They brought machinery, sonar, and search dogs, combing the valleys and downstream areas. But conditions were dire. The water was muddy, sonar signals failed, dogs couldn't track scents, and the flood had reshaped the land so that maps were useless. Worse still, forecasts predicted more severe storms ahead. Any new rainfall could trigger a second flash flood and endanger rescuers. During these exhausting efforts, at dawn on the 17th, a 19-year-old girl was found alive. She had clung to her phone, her knee injured, dehydrated and hypothermic, but still breathing. She was immediately taken to the hospital. By 1 p.m., as the water finally receded, rescuers saw the devastation. Crushed cars, torn tents, scattered clothing and supplies, and even several dead goats. One rescuer sighed. In a flood, even a car is like paper. What chance does a human have? On August 20th, the 12th body, a man around 20 years old, was found buried in mud. 8 firefighters worked 3 hours to recover him. By August 22nd, at 8 a.m., the last missing person was found. Of the 13 campers, only one survived. The lessons behind the tragedy. The causes and lessons from this disaster are complex, and public debate has been intense. Some blame poor site choice, others question why the warning system failed. Official investigations concluded the following. 1. Geological conditions easily trigger flash floods. The loose sandy terrain of the Coffin mountain area makes it extremely prone to flash flooding. Even rain tens of kilometers upstream can lead to downstream disaster. 2. The camping site was actually a riverbed. What seemed like an open flatland was a dry river channel. In the rainy season, such dry creeks turn into death traps. 3. Weather warnings were ignored. Both the National Meteorological and Water Resource Bureaus had issued flood alerts on August 15. Bayannur city followed with a local warning the next evening. The 13 campers may not have seen it or simply didn't take it seriously. Ironically, another camping group on site did listen to the herdsman's warning and left early and survived. 4. Social media romanticizes risk. Online camping posts often show sunset skies and bonfire nights but hide the dangers of wind, rain, and sudden floods. This romantic secret spot culture leads many to unsafe, unregulated areas. 5. Climate change and extreme weather are worsening. From Zhengzhou's 7.20 rain disaster to Beijing and Qinghai's deadly floods. Such tragedies are increasing. Outdoor enthusiasts must become more cautious than ever. 6. Safety guidelines for campers. Choose high, well-drained ground far from riverbeds or valleys. Avoid camping during storm or rainy seasons. Don't camp under large trees, on isolated hills, or in wind channels. Prefer areas with basic facilities, good access, and stable communication. Always take weather warnings seriously. Never gamble with nature. A reverence for life. The sole survivor, the 19-year-old girl, has been slowly recovering with medical and psychological care. May she one day find peace beyond that night of terror. We only live once. Before nature, we hold no control, only respect and caution. Let this tragedy be a reminder to all who love the outdoors. Life is fragile, and reverence for nature is the greatest form of wisdom. That's all for today's episode of Shirley's Strange Tales. If you found this story chilling, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Shirley, and I'll see you next time, with more true and haunting stories.